And now, Lifestyles Unlimited presents the Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Over the next hour, we unfold your map to financial freedom. You'll learn how to retire through investing in single-family and multifamily real estate. You'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth so you can have the time and money to live the lifestyle you want.
Welcome to the show. My name is Al Gordon, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. On today's show, it's another edition of Tell Al Tuesday, and I've asked Cliff and Cathy to join me. Now, you've heard them on the show before if you're a longtime listener. If you've not heard them on the show before, no problem, because what we're going to do today is we're going to get you all caught up on what's going on in their lives. Now, they became members of Lifestyles Unlimited, which is a real estate investor education and mentoring company, back in 2017. That was the same year that I became a member of Lifestyles Unlimited. And let me share with you some of the results that they've achieved thus far. In 2019, literally 18 months after they became members, Cathy retired herself from corporate America. So keep that in mind. It took her about 18 months to get herself retired. Now, Cliff, it took him a little bit longer. I think there was a little bit more that they needed to do to cover income and things like that. It's all part of the process that we go through as Lifestyles Unlimited members as we are working our way towards retirement. But Cliff retired himself from his W-2 job in 2022. And they have not looked back. For the last 2 years, they have been real estate retired, and their life has completely changed. Now, check this out. No one, now get this, no one has asked them how they did it. They live in a part of Texas where they're pretty well known, and they've got a lot of friends. They had a lot of friends prior to Lifestyles Unlimited, and none of their friends have asked them specifically, hey, Cliff, hey, Cathy, how did you do it? So what we're going to do on today's show, we're going to ask them how they did it. We're going to get into their minds. We're going to figure out how did they get retired in like 18 months and literally in 5 years and get it all done in 5 years or less. So no further ado, let me bring Cliff and Cathy onto the show. Welcome back, you two. How y'all doing today?
We are great. We are great.
Cliff, I didn't hear anything from you. Are you okay?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I didn't have to ask my boss to be here either today, so we're doing great.
That's amazing. You didn't have to ask your boss to take time off of work to come do this radio show today?
No, sir.
What? Yep. Why is that?
We don't have a boss. We are the boss now. So we get to design our life. We get to pick and choose what we want to do each day, which is typically build on our real estate portfolio. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we have the authority to decide how we live our life now.
So I'm guessing at one point in your life, it wasn't always this way. I mean, we kind of disclosed to the audience that you were working pretty hard for somebody else. Tell me a little bit about what life was like prior to becoming a Lifestyles Unlimited member.
Well, prior to Lifestyles, I was in the oil and gas business and primarily in the refinery sector. And I worked for a consulting company, and we traveled the world helping our clients with their shutdown and decommissioning processes. I had a fantastic job. I couldn't ask for a better company to work for. I mean, they took great care of the employees, and we took extreme ownership and care of their business. But after joining Lifestyles, I discovered, I had the realization I was working on somebody else's family office and making them extremely wealthy and rich, which was good. We were doing what we were supposed to do. But Cathy and I, when we got married, and even before we got married, we knew kind of deep down, like, hey, we want to do something on our own. We want to do something that we can call ours and that we can, build on every day and give ourselves the lifestyle and freedom we want so that we can do the work and activities that we want to do.
So, Cathy, what was it like with Cliff globetrotting around the world for this oil and gas organization? I mean, I'm guessing you were pretty much at home and you had a career and you were raising the kids. Was that difficult on you?
I was single for several years, many years before I met Cliff and got married. So it wasn't really a big change for me to have him traveling. It was just, business as usual for me. But the hard part's, I'm committed to this job that pays me really well, but so I have to dismiss some of the items that my kids are doing during the day, especially. And that was hard for me. Once I was able to finally quit my job, I could really work on the real estate and still have the freedom to, take the kids their lunch if they needed to. And I mean, our kids are grown now. I can just go to lunch with them now. Like, hey, what time's your lunch break? Because I can meet you for lunch on your lunch break now. So it's really great that I can now have the freedom to just spend time with the kids and still focus on, the work that I need to do for the real estate. But it's just the freedom of the schedule is just fantastic.
And that gets right back to Cliff's point that you guys are your own bosses. You guys work specifically for yourself. Now, one of the questions I've got for you is, what were you doing for retirement before Lifestyles Unlimited? Did you have a 401k, those types of things? Yeah,
we had the traditional retirement plans, 401k, save, hope, pray. We would have enough money.
A lot of praying, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you guys have lived through some of those market downturns, and you watched your 401k turn into a 201k periodically, correct?
That's true.
Let's get into what you're doing for real estate. I actually have a list here in front of me that you guys provided me, and it's pretty extensive. I mean, you bought an 8-unit as an independent rental operator, then you bought a 36-unit as a lead investor, and then you bought another 33-unit, then you bought a 120-unit, then you bought a 109-unit, and then you serve as a key principal on 102 units, and that you're also a passive investor in, and you're a passive investor in, good gosh, like 700 more units. How did you accomplish all of that?
Well, it definitely took a little bit of time. We did our 8-unit, and we learned the nuts and bolts of the business on the 8-unit. We made a few minor mistakes, and we learned from those, so that when we did our first lead deal, we were able to correct some items and move faster. We were able to be in and out of our 8-unit in about 2.5 years, and then our first lead deal was about an 18-month hold. And both of those first two apartment community investments more than doubled our money. And then some of our passive deals that we got into early on doubled, almost tripled some of our investment amounts within that same period of time. So that was really what was able to set us up to move to the next properties that we bought.
I think that's really an amazing result. I mean, you had one result with the 401k where you got mediocre results. After 15 years, you finally doubled your money. But with real estate, I mean, you've got one asset that more than doubled your money in 2.5 years, another one that doubled it in 18 months, and you keep getting results like that. So what is that doing for your net worth?
I don't have an exact figure of what our net worth has gone up, but I'm sure it's probably a 10x increase in our net worth from, the day we started. We've definitely had fantastic results. The market has been good to us. Following the map is the key to our success. We do not get creative to try to dream up our own ways of doing things. We just copy success and keep it simple. And it works. And it works every single time, over and over again. And, right now we acquired a property last July, really started managing it in August, and immediately went into our recipe for success, which is fix everything, renovate everything, and customer service our residents. And we are getting applications from the surrounding market. I mean, we're pulling people out of other communities that are near to the recent one we purchased, and we're having such good results that when my managers call to get rental history, those our competitors won't answer our phones anymore. They won't provide us with any rental history, and they lie to us and tell us, no, that person's not, his lease is not up till next year. So we're having a definitely making our mark in that small sub-market, and we're having, amazing results by taking care of our residents and raising our income.
So you're operating out of what I would consider kind of a small town, kind of a secondary market outside of the San Antonio market. So I'm guessing that you guys are benefiting from word of mouth, because if all these people are coming to you and it's upsetting your competitors because they're losing the business to you, sounds like you're doing something a little bit different than everybody else. What do you think that might be?
I absolutely know we're doing something better than everybody else, and that's having great staff, great maintenance, asking for 5-star reviews. We want true, real, organic 5-star reviews to hit Google. So we've increased and improved our presence online. Our buildings look good from the street. You may know one little niche we do is on high traffic areas. We paint some really cool murals on our buildings to, capture people. That has generated leases for us. And then we also network with other lead investors in lifestyles and talk about, hey, what works and what doesn't work. And we copy the things that work. And we all of us leads in this area, we work together just with, information, and we are able to win the market.
I think that's amazing. I mean, you flat out said you don't reinvent the wheel. So that's one of the principal concepts that we have at Lifestyles Unlimited is that you get a map, I get a map, it's the same map, but we have different paths that we're able to follow, and you chose the lead investor path. Now, why did you guys choose to be lead investors and not just passive investors?
Cathy and I, Cathy, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, I can. We have a lot of work left in us. We started this in probably our early to mid 40s, and we really have a lot of work left in us. I just can't see us sitting on a fishing boat every single day, till we die. I mean, hopefully we die, another 30 years. I just enjoy what we do. I enjoy improving our, not only just the apartment community that we're running, but we improve the community around our area as well. And, Cliff and I have lived here our whole lives, and this is where we live, and we love that we can add value to our own community and the surrounding areas for every community that we've purchased. And people notice. It's really great that we can do that.
Let me piggyback off that. We've won the best renovated community of the year 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, for 3 different properties we have. That's correct, with the Apartment Association.
Wow. So you've not only smoked the competition and taken their clientele, you're getting awards for it. I think that's an amazing result. When we come back from the break, we're going to get into the personal side of their story. Stick around.
Got questions? Call Lifestyles Unlimited at 855-497-4335. The Real Estate Investor Radio Show continues next.
Lifestyles Unlimited wants you real estate retired. Learn the roadmap to wealth building. Impact your family for generations. Just like Lifestyle members Chad and Lisa.
Our kids are actually involved, and so they're learning the ropes. They see this in their future. It's benefited our children in the way they think of their future. It's taught them how to think in the millions.
Learn from the best. Lifestyles Unlimited, teaching you how to retire in 5 years or less while building generational wealth. In this rapidly changing environment, now's the time to take action. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter code 2024 for a $297 2-year membership. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter code 2024 for our Financial Freedom Program membership special. $297 for 2 years. That's 66% off our regular price. With over 33 years of educating and mentoring experience, let Lifestyles Unlimited help you become real estate retired. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Creating the lifestyle you've always wanted. You're hearing Lifestyles Unlimited's Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second half of the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. My name is Al Gordon. I'm joined by Cliff and Cathy, and together we are working on your financial freedom. Now, what I want to do in this segment, guys, is I kind of want to get into your personal lives. Is that okay to share that with millions of people?
Yes. I think that's fine.
It was totally fine until I said millions of people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, there was an event that I'm aware of that happened to your family, and it affected one of your children. Can you tell me about what that event was, and specifically, can you tie it into what real estate has been able to do for you so that you were able to be there for your child during this period?
So last year, my son was 20 years old and was diagnosed with leukemia. Sorry, it still gets me emotional just talking about it.
Yeah, it's a tough subject. I get it.
It's hard to talk about. I mean, all things are good today, okay? Just in advance, everything's good now. But it was tough, and it happened so fast. You know, one day he was perfectly fine, and then he just wasn't feeling good. Went to the doctor, and I mean, we were in San Antonio on the oncology floor, the emergency of the hospital, for 35 days. And I mean, there was not much time to think about what happened. It just happened so fast. As soon as he stepped in the door at the hospital, they started some chemo on him immediately, and it just progressed from there. And like I said, the first 35 days we spent in the hospital in San Antonio, and it was. I was just glad I didn't have to worry about a job. You know, I still was able to work while I was in the hospital, but it just wasn't the stress when you have a job and you're working for somebody else. You know, Cliff was home, my husband was home, and my other son was home, and they were able to really do a whole lot of the real estate stuff, and I could really focus on, you know, getting Casey feeling better and through the chemo and the cancer. So it was just great to be able to have that freedom.
Let me add too. We got the call at about 2 or 3 in the morning from Casey that he was sick and needed to go to the hospital. Cathy left at 3 in the morning on a Sunday. She did not come home for 35 days. She didn't have time to pack and get ready and go or ask. She didn't have to call her boss and ask him, like, hey, I need time off because, you know, we're having a medical event. She went and took care of Casey, and I kind of helped support her from the background, bringing food, clothes, whatever she needed. But she did not come home for 35 days from that phone call. She got out of bed and had no idea she was going to be gone for that period of time.
Did you guys rely on your team during that time period?
Oh, absolutely. We have fantastic teams in place on our properties, and really they take the burden of the day-to-day activity. We just need to kind of take care of the corporate level stuff and provide guidance to them. But they are almost like family to us, and they knew what was going on, and they took care of the day-to-day business for us. So we weren't really having to work in the business or be there 100% of the time. They were able to take on a lot of that, but they took on all of it for us.
Yeah.
So I think the takeaway for the audience is that you have built a business system that will operate whether you are physically there or not. I mean, that's clear evidence that if Cathy got pulled out of the business for 35 days, and like you mentioned, Cathy, you were able to still focus on certain things, but that business ran like clockwork, even though you weren't available to be there.
That's right.
Guys, when I say legacy planning, what does that mean to you?
Well, to me, it means we're building up a family office, a family business, and it's something that our children work with us in. They learn skill sets. One of them is more on the business side. One of them is more on the maintenance side. So that might be a good recipe to have. So as we progress and we get to where Cathy and I are maybe at some point a little bit less involved, they're able to take the reins. Our youngest, he's actually on spring break right now, and he's at one of the properties helping the maintenance guys and picking up skills that he would have otherwise not ever learned. And he graduates this year. He's planning on taking some maintenance classes at the local community college, learning HVAC and getting all those skills under his belt so he can potentially run our maintenance department as we grow.
So, Cathy, you've got 3 children, and they're all, to a certain extent, involved in the family business. How does that operate? How does that work?
What's really exciting is that they're excited. They've heard us for many years now talking about real estate all the time. As a matter of fact, my youngest son would be like, "Oh, you're having those people over. I'll be upstairs because I know all you're going to talk about is real estate." He wasn't very interested, but after we got one of our first checks back on the sale of a property, we showed him the check with a few extra zeros on it than he's ever seen before, and he is suddenly interested in the real estate with us. And he actually went to his first expo with us last year. He was 17 years old, and he's just been just unbelievably gung-ho about doing this with us. So he's a senior in high school. He gets out at 2:30. Now that football season's over, he goes to the property, and he works on the property with us from about 3 to 6. Sometimes on the weekends when we need some extra work done, he'll come out on a Saturday and work. And like Cliff said, at spring break, he was like, "Mom, I want to work this week, but I have to have Wednesday off. Like, I want to do something at the beach on Wednesday, but all the other days of the week I can work." So he's been waking up in the morning, going out to the property at 9 o'clock and works all day long. And it's just helping the maintenance guys. It's just been great experience for him, and he's absolutely loving it.
So he sees the benefits of the fruit of your labor.
Without a doubt. He absolutely does. And he wants to be there too. So it's really exciting to have the boys on board with us.
So
when you're 18 and you want a Lamborghini, you got to find a vehicle that works, right?
That's right.
Yeah, when I was 18, I had a Ford Pinto, so yeah.
But didn't we all want a Lamborghini?
I did. I wanted much better than a Ford Pinto. But those are the cards that I got dealt. So,
yeah.
So what do you see as far as the future regarding the growth of your company? I mean, how big are you guys planning to get?
We don't have a number in mind. Yeah, we don't really have a number in mind. We're at a point now where we're kind of at our bandwidth, and we're refining our operations now before we go any further. But our plan is to grow our portfolio slow and really take good care of the assets that we have. So we don't really have a number that we want to get to. We just want to continue to grow a little bit every day. Wherever we get is where we get. We may dispose of some assets, pick up some new ones, but we don't have a set number of doors that we're after. We're just looking for assets that provide value.
Now, are you guys always on the hunt for the next deal, or have you kind of cooled your jets and you're just focused on operations right now?
Yeah, we've cooled our jets. We're not in the hunt for anything. We just want to focus on operations, taking extreme ownership and pride in the properties that we do have, making sure that our customers are served very well, making sure that we stand out in the market, and just there's some things that we need to work on, and we want to work on those items this year and just continue to get better before we actually pick up another asset.
For those people that are listening to us right now that actually own some multifamily, can you give them some tips on things that maybe they ought to consider doing that have worked for you that could benefit their business too?
Make sure that you are taking care of your maintenance every day. Make sure that your residents don't go without air conditioning and hot water. Make sure your plumbing is in good, top working condition. Make sure your assets look good, and then make sure that your customers are leaving you 5-star reviews online.
Well, that sounds pretty simple, but I'm guessing there are people out there that have difficulty achieving all of that.
I guess we've developed a good team, so we're able to do that, make sure that you're an income positive property so that you can afford to continue to do these things. And just always remember that when you have a prospect calling your property and they're talking to your manager or your leasing agent, they're looking at your Google reviews while they speak to you. And if your Google reviews are high and your team members are mentioned in these reviews, when they call, they want to speak to that person. They're hoping that they get to speak to that person, and you're able to more easily get them to come to tour your property and sign a lease. And at the end of the day, it's about bringing in good residents and signing that lease.
How many people do you guys have on your team as employees?
I believe we have 11 right now.
And did you start out with 11, or did you start with a smaller number?
We started out with 2, and their names were Cliff and Cathy.
Cliff and Cathy. I kind of know who they are, yeah.
That was in 2019, and then, we bought our first asset. We're like, okay, we're going to renovate this place. Now what? So then we had to find a person who helped us work on our renovations, and that person was with us for a while, and she took care of a lot of the maintenance and renovations that we did. And then Cathy and I were the leasing agent, property managers. When we got a little bit larger, we were able to hire a leasing agent. We discovered that she was a whole lot better at leasing apartments than we were. So she was able to keep our assets fuller than we were able to do it. And actually, this young lady is still with us today. She's managed 3 of our assets, and she does a phenomenal job of creating a good relationship with the people she's bringing on, and then really taking care of our residents. And people now, the residents don't know who Cathy and I are. They know our manager. And we have another property out that we purchased in Portland, Texas, which is about 35 minutes from our house. And when we bought that one, that property came already preloaded with a manager and 2 maintenance guys, and she's been on that property for like 12 or 14 years, something like that. She is a kind of a fixture on that property, and people specifically live there because she is the manager.
Yep.
None of those residents know who Cathy and I are. We don't want them to know who we are. We want them to rent here because the manager that's there takes care of them. And we give her the support and backing to be able to do the day-to-day function that she does.
Did she like working for you two better than she liked working for the other folks?
She loves working for us.
That's right.
She has specifically told us, like, I love working for y'all. And we try to tell her, like, hey, you don't really have to buy us birthday gifts on our birthday. We'll buy them for you.
Right.
But she's so grateful to the support we give her, the ability to, we've upgraded her property, we've upgraded her swimming pool, we make sure her grounds are super nice and clean. We give her better product to lease up, and then we just support her in her day-to-day role so she has no hurdles, no barriers to leasing apartments.
So I think what you said succinctly is you empower her to do the best job that she can do.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the secret to your success, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Best product, best price, best employees, best everything.
And where'd you learn all of that?
Cathy and I both learned every bit of it through Lifestyles Unlimited. We worked with our mentors. We communicate with other more seasoned lead investors all the time. And we just have plugged into the map that Dale teaches and has taught everybody for 30 years, and it works. It's a recipe that works. We do not want to have a creative mindset. We want to just copy success and just rinse it over and over again.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Hey, Cliff, Cathy, I want to thank you for being on the show today. And for those of you looking to get started, go to lifestylesunlimited.com, sign up for a free workshop, and let's get you going.
The information and opinions you hear on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.